and welcome to yet another new project on my drive. I've actually sold the Kawasaki Ninja now 2 weeks ago, and since then, rather than looking for another bike, what I decided is something better suited for my lifestyle over the winter is to pick up a little car project. Now, I've really enjoyed working on my wife's little Mini Cooper. I enjoy the way it drives, but I'd like something a little bit more fun and toy-like, so I've gone for a R53 Mini Cooper S, and this is the one I bought after a bit of a hunt online. My wife actually found the advert, and it was only 20 miles up the road, and for the grand total of 2,400, I have this Mini Cooper. It is very low mileage at 54,000 miles, I believe. However, there are a lot of issues that have to be gone through. There have been a lot of mods as well, which is half the reason I got for it, because the mods that are done are things I would like to do. And there are quite a lot left outstanding that I need to do to get it into a good place. So what I'm going to do is quickly walk you through what you can see, what's changed, what's new, what's stock, and what the problems are. And there are quite a few, but we'll get to them. So starting on this corner, it's actually got some lowering springs fitted. Now these are probably going to be replaced because he did mention they weren't particularly great, but it is running a Team Dynamics Pro 1.2 wheel here, painted in a Halford's goldish colour. These are the stock brakes, I believe. It's just the suspension that needs changing. Up on further across, we do have the vented side panels, which have been painted. You can see there, just on that side, there is issues with the paint fitment, but we'll get that sorted further down the line. And there has been a cutout on the inner arch liner here to allow the venting to flow through. So that's it on the wheels, with the exception of it has had the stud conversion done, which is one of the things I would like to do. I'm not a huge fan of this suspension setup. One, because as we get further back, I'll show you where the issues are. But for here, I think the lowering at the front, it's not too bad. We'll get away with that. Now, also come around the front on the exterior, we have Joey modded headlights. These are the Xenons by the looks of it. So how they're working in a pre-facelift version, I'm not too sure. But these have been painted with surrounds. And as I say, they've been modded, so they paint fit with a nice bit of red there. Also around the front, we've got a little tow bar hookup and a blacked out badge and grille. There is also a custom number plate, which is quite good fun. Up onto the bonnet, however, we do have vented bonnet hoods, which has been a home job by the previous guy, so that's a little bit of a fun one. And that's pretty much it from the exterior and the front. Okay, on the rear here, we've had the same setup with lowering springs, apart from there is an issue. The fitment here means as you go over the bumps, you can see it is taking chunks out the tyre where it is rubbing, and it's not against the plastic, because I've had the plastic off, it is rubbing up against the metal, which means before I take this on the road, it does need to have basically the springs replaced. Okay, on the rear here, we've got the, I think it's the aero spoiler. Not my cup of tea, but great. Also got rear window delete. And again, we've got the blacked out handle. And there has been a towing eye fitted. And there is an aftermarket exhaust sorted out. Other than that, the back is pretty much stock. This side is much the same as the other, with not so bad on the fitment issues on this wheel. There is a minor bit of scrapage, but it's much more on the other side, where I think they're second-hand springs and have sagged. Again, paintwork's pretty fine along here. Again, minor issues on paintwork on this side, but nothing huge. And again, vented front discs, and this one clears perfectly well. So that's it from an exterior point of view with the modifications that we've done so far. So let me bring you onto the engine. The engine bay is where you see most of the work has been done. You'll see the xenon headlights aren't fully fitted up properly because they are missing the squirter connection hookup, which means they're probably missing self-leveling, but it did pass an MOT. The underside of the vents means there has been some cut off on this side, which means a little bit of rust might start creeping in there, so I'd like to top that paint up. And the same is true on that side, so there's a bit of flex in the bonnet. Coming down, we've got sway bar across the top, and there is a K&N filter set up inside there, reaching through to that intake duct there, as well as from the front. So it does have both sides of the ducts turned on, well, enabled. Also got an aftermarket ignitions coil set, and a PCV valve has been done. Again, an uprated intercooler has been put in, replacement header tank. But the main thing is actually in the engine itself, where it's had the cams done, the injectors done, and it's been tuned for it. Now that's work I wanted to do, but I haven't, or was so far down my list of priorities I didn't want to even touch it until I got all the kind of exterior points done. So having that engine tune done and having it available as a dyno graph proof with I think it's 240 brake horsepower, it's a huge win for me to get that out of the box. The other thing that's been done is an AC delete, so I'd like to get that reinstalled, and there is an uprated oil cooler just down there as well. So all in all, the engine work has been done really well, and is what makes this car for me worth it. So that's the kind of positive side. It gets a bit more negative when we get inside, ignoring the shock issue, which does have to be replaced for it to be safe. But engine bay, pretty clean. All the work that's been done is done quite well, and there isn't an inch of rust on this bodywork that I've found so far. Okay, the interior is where this car is let down. We'll start on the door panels. It is missing the covers there. That speaker grille is knackered, there's no speaker behind it. It's also missing the telltales for open and closed. It's random bits of trim knocking about in all the different places. This trim's been off and on quite a few times, as you can tell. There is some damage there. And there's also an aftermarket boost gauge fitted in one of the vents. Doesn't work. And you'll also see the carpet is a replacement carpet, and along here you'll see that the Mini Cooper S kick plates, whatever this thing's actually called, damaged, needs replacing. Some of the body trim is just loose. Seats are a little bit worn, but are this leather pleather plastic, both sets, and does match the rear. It has the facelift steering wheel. None of the controls work. And as we come inside, you'll see it has had the lining redone, but poorly because it's already started to come. Poorly because it's already started to come loose, and that's pretty much all the way around. You see, it's the sunroof pano model, so that's always fun. We'll be able to sort that out and check the leaks. See the rear seat there and the under tray for the back. See, it's all been blacked out with what looks like paint from spray can. Again, this side is missing its cover. That speaker is also missing. This cabinet doesn't actually close and stay closed, so we've got to figure out a way to make that happen. Missing its stereo, but the big issues are probably visible for you with, there's one speedo, there's another one, and another one. This was all replaced, and also you notice the missing trim. The reason there's two speedos is because there was a fault with the telltale lights inside. And let me just start the car, if it starts. And that's the issue, the battery's a bit shocking. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the booster pack out. Okay, jump pack connected. Let's try and start now. You'll also hear that slight rattle there of the clutch joining and getting set up because it's been an uprated clutch and a light flywheel. Now the other thing you'll see is that light is on the traction control light there is on, and also you'll notice when I play with the indicators that they don't work, or the lights, they don't work on the interior anyway. The exterior, they do work. We'll just turn this off in a minute. Now, the reason that's all not working, we think, is the body control module, which is going to be one of those electrical gremlins I have to figure out, because I also think that's the reason the battery is draining quite badly within a week, because I did drive this home last week and everything was functioning. But that is something that we have to fix. So because of the body control module, the fan doesn't... Oh no, the fan is starting to work now. Oh, and the indicator has started working. But you'll see I've just turned the indicator switch back off. It's still going. All of that's the BCM just being weird and wonderful and needs to be replaced. Which means I don't have working things like cruise control and volumes. I don't even know if they work. So all of that is due for replacement. So I just killed the engine there because it's quite a loud exhaust. So that's what's going on this interior here. Basically, the biggest thing is the electrics and then just fitment of all the plastics. So you'll see in the boot here, what I've had to do is hook up my jump pack to keep everything started, because there is some issue with power drain, because this was running and I did drive it 15-60 miles home very carefully because it scraped everywhere. Other than that, it's mostly complete. I do have a box of bits, and all the main panels you'll see are around, including the tray there that goes across, but it's sound deadening. But this was a track car, so it has been speedily abused, but in general it's not in bad condition. It just needs love. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the BCM replaced. He's actually sending me that, which is fantastic because he's got one on order, and then hopefully that should be a quick replacement to fix that issue. And then I shall get the spring replaced on both of these rear shocks, and from there that should give me a drivable car, and I'm quite happy. All right, but what I'm thinking is 2,500. Yeah, it was 2,500 I paid for this. I'm getting the BCM thrown in, so yes, it's an unknown electrical fault at this time, but we think the BCM is going to fix the issue. There is that fault. The rest of it is just wear and tear of plastics coming out and in as part of being a track car that just needs love. And because I am going to be playing around with it and doing my own things, I didn't mind taking on that part of someone else's project. I would love the perfectly clean, low mileage, but with 58,000 in this engine and all the engine work done, the clutch, the light and flywheel, stuff that would cost me a fortune to do, I don't mind paying and taking the risk on the electrics. Everything else I can bolt on, bolt off, play around with in my own driveway. Engine rebuild stuff, it's a lot more work. So for me, this is a good, fun little project. I'm hoping this winter to kind of really just get it up and running, use it for over the winter period. Whereas in the summer I can play around with my BMW. It's not my only vehicle that's road legal. And as soon as I get this moving, and by the way, it does have a full 12-month MOT on the day that I bought it. Once I get the shocks done and that BCM sorted, I can then go back onto my Boxer BMW, have a little play with that, and not be too worried because it's my only form of transport. But this, I'm looking forward to having a good play with. I think there's a lot that can be done with this, and there's a lot that I'd like to do with it. But for now, I'm really happy, and I'll probably do a video quite shortly after this, going through how to do the BCM replacement once I figure out how to do it myself. Because that's the joy of this, is just trying stuff and finding out. But for now, really happy. I did also get a few extra bits thrown in, like a car cover, which is great. A spare old style smaller spoiler, which is very similar to what I actually have on my wife's Mini. I got an old central rev counter clock and the old ignition leads and coil. So there's a lot of other bits and bobs. I think there's an original airbox filter set up as well, so that's in there. So they've got a box full of bits, And he's also thrown in a stereo unit that he's got on order. So hopefully I'll have a stereo to fit at some point soon. But for me, those aren't a priority. The priority is springs, BCM, and I think the BCM first, because the battery has gone flat within a week of sitting. Now that could be that the glove box fell open, and that's kept things alive and awake, drawing a little bit of power, but I'll just go through and we'll start figuring stuff out as we go along. All right, that's it for now. If anyone's got any things to look out for, support questions or anything else like that, feel free to throw it in the comments. I'm trying out all this stuff. But I think for now, that's me done. I'm going to try and get out of the sun for a bit because it's bloody hot, and come back and try and fit the BCM the next chance I get. All right, thanks very much.